My name's Niall and I'm a rhino conservationist. I've been doing this for about 8 years. This female here beside me was an infant when I first started, and this year she's just had her first calf, and it's the first rhino born here in 4 years, and that is a direct result of poaching. Poachers removed the dominant male rhino, and so for a number of years the Conservancy didn't feel like they could invest in the species, so we just sat with females. In 2016 we dehorned, and poaching subsided enough that it built confidence in the reserve that we could protect the species further, and so we went about bringing in a new male. And this is the product. Generally, a baby rhino is very protective of his mother. So if he feels like his mom is under threat, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to go out in front of her. See the way he's being protective over his mom? She wants to just sneak in and feed. That's a baby roaring.
So that's the big dominant male in the background there, and this mom's just shouting at him for getting too close while she's feeding with her baby. It's a big rhino. That is a very big rhino. What do you think he weighs, Neil?
2.5 tons.
What?
Yeah.
So he weighs substantially more than this car.
So Rock was the last rhino from a neighbouring reserve. There was over 40 rhinos there. They lost half of them and they sold the rest. So we got a bunch of people together to purchase them and bring them over here to join our population. And it's because we intensively monitor the rhinos, and during the full moon we're out full time, that we felt that we'd be able to look after him better over here. And he was the last of his whole herds, and they were having such serious problems with poaching that it was an inevitability that he was eventually going to be poached, so we just got him moved over here. He is the reason why the herd has come back to life, because we finally have a dominant male that's able to cover the females, and for the first time in 4 years we have baby rhinos on the property. And that's because of poaching. The last dominant male rhino was poached, and so there was no available male to produce baby rhinos. So we've had this 4-year gap. So in essence, we've kind of had a population that hasn't really been contributing to the wider picture of rhino conservation until 31st of December, until Rock came in, and 16 months later, there was a little Rock running around the place. Where he came from is the same story as the majority of private rhino owners in South Africa. They just felt like they couldn't protect or put the resources into protecting their herd any longer, so they decided to sell off the last of the rhinos. And during that time they were still getting hammered with poaching, so while people were buying rhinos to move them away from that property, they were still losing rhinos to poachers. So Rock ended up being the last white rhino that they had. Most properties are starting to dehorn now, but we're supposed to have already dehorned. Nature conservation, the body that regulates management of these animals, or the listed species, they're holding up the permits to get it done. So we've had to wait an extra 2 months, which is a huge risk to us and just the security of the farm and everybody's state of mind. The dehorning, it changed everybody's life here, pretty. It changed the rhinos' lives, but it changed the owners' lives. And that's pretty much essential. So The rhinos can be on the property, but if the rhino owner doesn't feel comfortable or doesn't feel safe, or there's too much resources going into one species, they have really tough decisions to make. And the idea of what we've been doing for the last 8 years is to remove those tough decisions from them by getting feed in, or assisting with anti-poaching, or having volunteers here that pay for the fuel to drive around and monitor them twice a day. And it comes down to cost, and I'm sorry to say that it's about costs. Really, when rhino owners come out here, they love these animals, but at the end of the day, for them to be able to enjoy them, they have to be able to afford them. The conservation of this species at the moment comes down to having money in your bank account to be able to protect them. And because you can't be taking money from another part of the reserve just for this species, because everything is already in balance on your books. But you can see how much horn has grown in about 18 months. He's probably put on a couple of kgs. Rhino horn is about $65,000 a kg, and each adult rhino is carrying around 6 to 8 kgs per rhino.